YouTube, it's Sunday.
Why are you such a copycat?
So I know it's already kind of been a little while since I've done a video like this. I did just recently make an announcement on my channel that I'm going to be doing a lot of different like skits and parody style things. Still do story times, but like less often. However, I still want to be genuine with you guys, and I still want to tell you about things that are going on in my life, and recently some creepy stuff's been going on in my life. I mean, like, what else is new? But so, you saw the title of this video, you know what we're here to talk about, some spooky ghost stuff. If ghost stories are not your thing, I don't know what brought you to this video. You might want to click off. I have other like funny videos, things like that. There's like a whole series of just goofy stuff on my channel, so definitely go look at that. But if you're into more creepy stuff, you came to the right place, because we're gonna get creepy today. I also have some adult grape juice, as my friend Loie calls it, in my mug because, well, partly just because we just got it and I love it, even though it smells kind of sour, so I'm really hoping it's not. But I also just kind of like felt like having something to drink that wasn't just water would be good for this video, and I don't really want to get amped up, so I didn't want to get coffee, and I didn't really want to get sleepy, so I didn't want to get tea, so wine just kind of seemed like the perfect in between. I don't know. It does taste a little weird. That bottle may have just been sour, in which case I need to get in contact with the store and be like, yo. Well, just kidding, guess I won't have any wine during this video, but let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start this story off with when I got my haunted mermaid doll thing, statue, figurine, words, I don't know. Martha, when I got Martha. So, okay, it happened in a really weird way. So we were actually supposed to go to a job interview for Connor, but we wound up blowing 2 tires on the interstate on the way there because I blow tires frequently because there's something wrong with my car. It doesn't matter. Also, Connor had an interview at Chipotle a couple hours later, so like we didn't want to go home because we were still like 30 minutes away from town at that point, and it would be easier to stay in town. So we decided to just stay in town, and we actually happened to find this cool like thrift antique store. And if you know anything about me, I am obsessed with thrift/antique stores. Like, it's so much fun to just go in and look around, and if you are looking for something, like, you can find just about anything there. And like, I've spent my whole life thrifting and I've gotten good at it. And anyway, I felt like going into this place, and it was huge. Like, I've been in there a few more times since then, and I still feel like there are parts of that store that I haven't been to. Everything is like, there's just so much stuff packed in there. There's so many different sections. Anyway, this is not the point. It's a really cool place. So we spent literally like an hour just walking around the whole store. And then by the time we were like close to the end, we saw this like little alcove kind of area, and it had a few like specialty knickknacks. Like, there was like a section of like country stuff and like sunflower stuff and stuff like that. And then there was a tiny little shelf with sea stuff. And by sea stuff, I mean like sea themed things, you know, like mermaids and like seahorses and starfish and just like other like ocean themed things, like very aesthetic ocean stuff. And so I immediately like, ooh, and went straight for it because I love the ocean. So yeah, I'm looking at the shelf, and there were so many cool things, and I saw like a really big mermaid who was like sitting up and had her tail kind of wrapped around. She was really cool. She was literally like this tall, but she was like $30, and I was like, yeah, I don't have that. So I kept looking through the shelves, and then I saw this pretty little gal right here, and I don't know, as soon as I picked her up, there was some kind of just really strong vibes coming off of her, and I could not put her down. Like, literally the second I picked her up and looked at her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try and talk myself out of it. But as soon as she was in my hands, I was like, I can't put her back. I can't go home without her. I have to take her home. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It was just very like, I can't go home without this. She was only like $12, and you know, I didn't really need to be spending any money, but I had the $12 technically, so I bought her. So we went to Connor's interview, and I wound up like getting free food because their registers were down literally just long enough for me to get food. I don't know, it was a really weird coincidence thing. The light went out above me when I sat down at the table. I was like, something's going on. I didn't think that much about it. I was just like, oh, it's some weird coincidental good luck, you know? Anyway, I wound up having her sit on the dashboard at the time, and then we drove back to Starbucks. Now, mind you, when she was on the dashboard, she did not move. She was literally just like this on the dashboard. I actually have a picture I'll insert real quick. She literally just stayed like that the entire drive. And actually first we wound up going to Walmart before we went to Starbucks because that was back when we didn't have power and so we were spending a lot of time at Starbucks anyway. But so we drove to Walmart and got whatever it was that we needed, and as we were getting out of the car, I remember saying like, wow, it's weird. It feels like there's someone in the car I need to take with me, like a child. Like there's a child in the car that I have to get out and bring with me. I don't have children. I've never had children. I've never like even taken my niece and nephew to the store by myself. Like it's just never been a thing. So I don't know why I felt like there is a child in the car. I literally almost opened the back door, but then I was like, there's no one in there. It's just my little mermaid. So then we started joking about her being haunted, but you know, at the time I thought it was just a joke. I mean, she'd been giving off strong vibes, but like, you know, sometimes you just really connect with things. I don't know, like with my tarot deck, for instance, you know, I told a story on my other channel where like whenever I found it, I picked it up and I was like, I can't put these back. I have to take these home. And it was kind of the same feeling with her, just a little bit more intense. And so I was like, oh, you know, she's just a pre-owned item. There's just energy. It's fine. So Connor and I joked about her being haunted. We went into Walmart, then we drove back and drove to Starbucks. Now on the drive from Walmart to Starbucks, we were talking again about her being haunted. I don't know why we like stopped the conversation when we got back in, we started talking about her again. I don't know why, I really don't, but we were talking about her being haunted again, joking around like, oops, bought a haunted doll, oh well, you know, like joking about the story time and like things like that. And then Connor was like, oh my god, like no, like I don't actually want her to be haunted, that sounds terrifying. Then, like I said, she had not moved on the dashboard, and I drive easy anyway, but still, like, she had not moved when we parked the first time. She'd not moved whenever we got almost hit by a car on the interstate. On the way there, she was still in the same exact spot, but then by the time I pulled into the parking spot at Starbucks, she had turned and was looking directly at Connor. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, you probably just swerved your car a little bit. And you know what? That's kind of what I excused it as originally. I was like, oh, that's creepy, that's weird timing. But I kind of really in my head was like, but you know, it was just maybe I just parked a little too hard and didn't realize it. Doesn't make sense really, but that's still what I told myself. We went into Starbucks to spend the day, blah blah blah, it doesn't matter. Fast forward, and the energy was still just really strong. Weird things started happening, like little things would just like go missing, like I lost my keys for a little bit, I lost one of my shoes, I still haven't been able to find that actually. Like an earring would go missing, it was just like little stuff, but just things kept just disappearing. Then one really weird thing happened that I like don't even know how to explain it away. Like it doesn't even make sense, like if she were haunted, like if she could do this, but it was so weird. And I have a picture of this which I'll insert after I tell you what it is. So we were moving to the place that we are in now, which is about 8 minutes from my work, and we left her there for the first night. Every night she'd been sitting on top of here, which is generally like my altar-ish area, and I put her on top of it for ocean aesthetic and stuff like that. And so she was sitting on there, and the first night that we slept here, we didn't take her. We did 2 different trips where we moved. So we moved about half our stuff, and then the second day we went back and got the rest of our stuff. She was there overnight. When we came back the second day to get the rest of our stuff, there was what literally looked like a mermaid on the screen. Now I don't know what that means. It doesn't make any sense when you think about it and like how did that even happen, but literally if you saw the picture, it is undeniable. It literally looks like a mermaid. Like I can't see anything but a mermaid just sitting there with her tail like partly up, and it's a different position, but her tail is partly up. I'm followed around by at least one spirit, which I'll get into in another video, but it still just like, it didn't really click until I looked over this later. Now once we moved here, again, things were kind of quiet for a little while, but then things started gradually happening. Like I would go to the garage right beside my room, like literally the door is right here, and then you go out of this door and immediately to that side, that's the garage door, and then it's the living room, and then it's the kitchen, right? We actually have a refrigerator in the garage with all of our food in it and all of our snacks and everything are in in the garage. So anytime we need food, we get out of our room and go into the garage and get our food. Now it's dim lighting in there. There is just like one fluorescent bulb thing, but it like flickers and it's like really just dim and it doesn't light up the whole garage at all. So okay, it's a little creepy on its own, and I started getting to the point where when I'd walk in there, I'd feel eyes on me. And at first, again, because it's a little creepy in there, I was like, oh, well, surely I'm just like creeped out. You know, I'm just imagining it, like it's not a big deal, like, you know. Plus the energy right outside of my room always feels different. I think I talked about this in the haunted house story time, where like I always keep my room cleansed and everything else, and so like my room energy feels very different than anywhere else. So as soon as I step out of my room, like I'm more likely to get freaked out. Also, really just side note, really weird timing, as soon as I started talking about the garage, it started getting kind of hard to breathe, and this choker is bugging me, and my battery is also already blinking, and it's been charging like this for like a whole day, and it said it was green, so woo! Basically, I just kept feeling eyes on me, I kept getting creeped out, and so I would like literally run out of the garage and back into my room, just like trying to stay in my bed at all times, everything else. And I started getting to the point where like energy in here just felt damp and squished and kind of like almost wet a little bit, if that makes any sense. Just like heavy and dense, if that makes sense, and kind of damp. I know I've already said all those words multiple times. I don't know how to describe it if you don't know what I mean. But so that started happening, and usually once that happens, you know that there's something around, and also it makes mental health bad, and it makes like sleeping and anxiety and all those other things just not good. All of it starts acting up. Anyway, so eventually there was one night, it was like 2 in the morning, and I was still awake because what else is new? Especially, like I said, recently I haven't been falling asleep till like 7:30, 8 in the morning some nights, and then literally waking up at like 3 or 4. So that's been my cycle, and I've been having to go to work at 3, so sometimes I like, you know, wake up at 1:30, 2 o'clock, but it's been bad. And at the old place, my sleep schedule was so good, I literally, like, before I got Martha, just realized I haven't told you guys the story of like her name yet. I'll back up in a second. But before I got Martha, my sleep schedule at the house before this was literally fall asleep around 11:30, 12 o'clock, sometimes 1 a.m. at the latest, and then wake up at 7:30 and write. And I was on that spree for a while, and then I got Martha and things started dwindling, and there are other external factors that probably contributed, but it's just weird timing. So real quick before I tell you the next part, the way I found out what Martha's name was really weird. And okay, hi, I know a lot of other YouTubers say this and like joke about it or like call coincidences being psychic, and sure they can be sometimes, but like I am legitimately psychic. Like, not to sound like a crazy person, but hey, you're watching me talk about a ghost story, so if you're here, you probably already believe in psychics, so it's fine. But I have in the past had like dreams that like showed something that then happened. The other night it was the smallest, like weirdest thing, but like in my dream I broke like my right thumbnail. It was like that, which by the way, it just did that like yesterday. I kept having to be careful so that my thumbnail wouldn't catch on things, and so then when I woke up I was like, oh, that's weird, why was that such a vivid detail in my dream? Like, it was a thumbnail, what does it matter? Then later that day at work, I literally went to grab a pitcher to make a Frappuccino. Hi, I work at Starbucks. Ironic, it's a mermaid theme. But I was grabbing a pitcher to make a Frappuccino, and my thumb rammed against something. I still don't know what it was, but it rammed against something. And I don't know if you can see it. There's like a little bit of a dark spot right there because something got in there and it like got past where the nail is supposed to go and bruised it, and it started bleeding. It was a thing. It's the same exact spot that my nail was broken in the dream. It's little stuff like that, but it's also, I'm clairsentient and clairvoyant sometimes, and occasionally clairaudient. Mostly clairsentient. I mostly am very sensitive to how things feel, but then sometimes I'll see things, and then even less frequently I'll hear things. Anyway, moving on. Do a test shot real quick to just make sure I'm still in focus because my battery just died. Okay, where was I? So, I kind of like named Martha Serena, but like I don't know, because, you know, siren and whatever, but I still, like, just didn't feel like it was the right name, and not, like, I wasn't trying to name her because I thought she was haunted. I just name all of my things, and especially the energy and the vibes that were coming off of my mermaid, I was like, well, you know, I should give her a name so I can refer to her, you know, like, why not? I'm sorry, this is starting to really bother me. Ooh, I'm just gonna unhook it. Okay. So I was trying to give her a name, and I was like literally one night sitting at this desk, and I was just like holding her kind of like this, and I was just like getting random names in my head. I don't remember the first few that popped in. They were weird, like Abigail and things like that, but then like Martha popped in my head, and at first I laughed at it, and then I remembered when I was in the car with her right after I got her, the name Martha popped in my head, but again I laughed at it and was like, I'm not gonna name her Martha. Oh my god, like what is she, the Brady Bunch? Like, I laughed at it. And then this time, sorry, I have to take this off. Wow. When I picked her up, it got a lot more intense. Sorry. So I was sitting there and it popped in my head again, and I laughed, and I was like, yeah, anyway, and started trying to come up with other names, and then Martha, like, just felt really strong again in my head. And it wasn't like I heard someone being like Martha, but like it was almost like I saw it like in my head, just like the word like right there, and I was like, wait, holy shit. And so then I said it out loud to just kind of see what happened, and as soon as I said Martha, it just like, oof, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. This is why I explained that, like, yo, I'm psychic, like, things like this, like, when it feels right, you know, that's just what it felt like. It's like, it's just that feeling of like, hey, what's your sister's name? Oh, my sister's name is Heather. Like, that is correct. You know, if I tried to say, oh, my sister's name is Sabrina, like, that wouldn't be right. Like, no, her name is Heather. Like, that's correct. You know, like that kind of oof, that's true. And so when I said Martha, ooh, that's true. I'm aware I sound like a crazy person. You can choose to believe me or not, whatever, but that's what happened. So, fast forwarding back to where we were, that's an oxymoron. So, it was 2 in the morning. I was awake, because again, what else is new? I'm always awake at 2 a.m, it's fine. And I was hungry, so I was like in the kitchen microwaving something. I don't even remember what it was, it doesn't matter, but I was in the kitchen, I was like standing in front of the microwave, and I think I was like looking at my phone while it was microwaving. Now, at the time, my roommate's daughter was staying here. She'd been here for like a few days, something like that. I have 2 roommates, and yeah, one of them has a kid who doesn't always stay here, but she was staying here that week. Anyway, I'm standing in the kitchen, it's 2 a.m, everyone else is asleep except for Connor, who was in here. The living room light was off, the only light that was on was the kitchen light because I was in there. So, I'm standing there microwaving food, and I heard that sound that happens when you like stop on a floor. I'm gonna try and recreate it real quick. When you're taking a step and it's just that. You know? And it only happened once. It wasn't like step, 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 step. It was just... And then I felt like a little girl was standing behind me. I don't know why, it just felt like it was a little girl. And again, I assumed that it was my roommate's kid because she's a little girl. And I had just heard a sound of like someone walking in the living room. So I turned around because it's 2 in the morning. Her parents aren't awake. Why is she in the living room staring at me? And so I turned around to look at this little girl. And as you may have guessed, there was no one there. I literally, like I said, I didn't hear footsteps, it was just the one sound, and that was already kind of weird, and I like walked out into the living room and flipped the light on, because the light switch is like right outside of the kitchen, you know? I flipped the light on, there was no one in the living room at all. And if it was like, if it had been their kid and she had like, you know, tiptoed out and then ran back in the room, I would have heard her running back in the room, I would have heard their door open, something. But it was just empty, and it still felt like she was standing there staring at me. After that, that started happening a little bit more frequently, not usually with the noise, but you could just feel that there was a little girl and she was staring at you. And again, when I was talking about when I was at Walmart, it felt like there was a kid in my car, not just someone, not just, hey, the mermaid I just bought with all the energy coming off of it. It felt like there was a kid in my car, like 6, 7 years old, maybe 8. 8 feels right. So, again, I started kind of sensing her more like that, and then I saw her. So 2 different nights in a row. I mean, like I said, at this point my insomnia was really bad. I was not sleeping until really late. And it got to the point where like, and I never wake up like mid-sleep. Ever. I just don't. Like, if I do, it's because someone is in my room, like, trying to wake me up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just wake up in the middle of the night. Like, once I'm asleep until I'm awake. But 2 different nights in a row, I woke up in the middle of the night, the middle of my sleep. The first night, I woke up, and for just a split second, it wasn't like she was standing here and I could still see her, but actually right here, literally right beside where I am right now, which is right in front of where she was sitting right here. For just a split second, when I opened my eyes, because my bed's right there, I opened my eyes already looking over here for some reason, which again is weird, but I opened my eyes and I saw this little girl just standing. She had, wow, this is weird. She had blonde straight across bangs, and it was like in a ponytail, but it was just like really messy, and she was really dirty, and like had on like a skirt and like a disheveled like shirt, was holding like some kind of toy or something, like maybe a teddy bear. That's what I'm thinking of now, but I don't know if that's actually what it was. Like I said, it was like boom, boom. She's just standing there looking at me, just kind of like, couldn't read her expression. It was too quick, but she was looking at me. And so of course I sat up and didn't go to sleep for another like hour. The second night, the same exact thing happened, except I saw a man, which is weird because I haven't seen a man the whole time. Like, ever since I got Martha, every time I like have any experience with her, it's a little girl, because that's who Martha was. I think she was a little girl. But for some reason, whenever I opened my eyes, I saw this man standing here in the same exact place, and again, just kind of standing there and just looking at me. And again, when I woke up, I was looking directly at him, and it was boom, boom. All I can remember is that he was kind of tall, because he was a dude. He looked older, he was kind of chubby, and was balding. And like, there was like, you know, the bald head, but then he had like a little bit around, and I feel like he had a big nose. I don't know that that matters, but I remember a big nose. That's it, because again, there was not enough time to like look, because it was like as I was waking up, like boom, boom, you know? At first, I just kind of was like, okay, I saw Martha the first night, and then the second night, I don't know, maybe she's making me see things. Maybe I'm like, maybe I was half asleep, and at that point I was like, maybe I didn't actually see her. I don't know. Like, I don't know why I saw a man. Like, that's weird. Like, maybe she can manifest herself and look different or whatever, but I have never known any spirit to do that. And at this point, by the way, once I heard her behind me and stuff, I've just, you know, kind of accepted, all right, so Martha's here. She's a spirit who is attached to that mermaid, and it's just a thing. Martha's never really like freaked me out, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, like, I get a little spooked because like, oh, it's a ghost, you know, like I've been dealing with this my whole life, so I'm like a little less freaked out by it, but I still get jumpy, and I still am like, oop, there's a ghost in the room, you know, like it's still a thing. But she's never scared me. She's spooked me, but she's never scared me. So I haven't been too worried. But after I saw Martha and then I saw the man, it was just normal stuff again, just kept sensing her in the room occasionally. Walking to the garage started getting a lot worse. It started getting much freakier in there, and it got to the point where sometimes I just wouldn't get up in the middle of the night to go get food, even if I was starving, because I didn't want to go to the garage. Woo, okay. But then the other night, Connor and I had been filming a Let's Get Shit-Faced video. That one's gonna come out soon. It was a pretty fun one. But afterward, we were both still a little bit tipsy, and we decided we wanted to go get some food. So, especially since we were both going together, I didn't really have an issue with it. I was like, cool, like, you know, it's whatever. It was, again, 2 in the morning, which I didn't realize until I was like typing part of this story to send to Loie for her like viewer story times or whatever, that it was 2 a.m. both times that I experienced something the strongest. And that's weird. Usually it would be at like 3 a.m. or at like time of death or something like that. I don't know. Like, I've never had a consistent time thing. But it was 2 a.m. both times, and just random weird fact. Anyway, both of us, Connor and I, went to the garage to go get some food. Now, Connor apparently just wanted to get some popcorn. I didn't know this at the time. We were just going in there for food, and I saw Connor walk around, like, it's the fridge and then the dryer, and like our snacks are up here. So I saw Connor walk around the fridge and go over to the dryer, and I heard them like messing around with stuff. I opened the fridge and was leaning in and trying to decide what I wanted. Now the fridge and the freezer doors are connected, so it completely blocked that area off. I thought I just heard like a thump noise from the garage, so fun. So we were both in there, and I'm like, you know, looking around in the freezer and refrigerator and whatever for food because I didn't know what I wanted yet. And then finally I just kind of decided on a bag of French fries, not like the whole bag, but like I kind of just decided on French fries. So I grabbed the bag of fries and I closed the refrigerator door, and I saw, oh, that scared the crap out of me. Whew. Oh man, I'm jumpy. That was just my roommates, that wasn't Martha. Oh my god. Okay, I need to chill. So, I decided on French fries. I went ahead and grabbed the bag and I went to shut the door. And I saw Connor still standing in front of the dryer and like hunched over and like rearranging things. Like it looked like, you know, they were like moving stuff around on the dryer to like arrange on their arms or something, and like I could hear the things being moved around on the dryer. And again, I saw Connor standing there, hunched over the dryer and doing this. And I made a joke to Connor like, well, gonna eat French fries, and like made a joke about like being super healthy and then getting French fries at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. Like, so I made that joke, and then I walked out of the garage and left the light on and the door open because I just looked at Connor and made a joke about being super healthy. And so since they were still in the garage and I was leaving first, I was gonna leave the door open. Now, the light to the living room, like I said, is over where the kitchen is, not right by my door. And so when I came out of the garage, I didn't flip on the light to the living room because it was across the living room. So the living room was dark when I walked out of the garage, but the kitchen light was on, and I immediately, my first thought is, oh no, it's 2 a.m. I've woken my roommates up by being too loud, like, I feel really bad, and I was like already preparing myself to be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry if we woke you up, like, you know, we were filming and I get loud when I film, and especially like we were drinking as well, like, I'm so sorry. So I'm walking to the kitchen, preparing to say that, and then I see Connor lean over and throw something away and walk past the doorway in the kitchen. It's getting harder to breathe, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting freaked out again or what, but it's a thing. I stopped in my tracks as soon as I saw Connor, like literally stopped. My stomach just dropped, and I turned around to look behind me. The garage door is still open, the light's still on. I can't see in the garage anymore because I'm part way into the living room, but I literally turned around and looked back at the kitchen. Holy shit, Connor's in the, how did Connor get to the kitchen? Because I left first. Connor's still in there. I looked at them while they were hunched over the dryer. Again, the lighting was dim, so it kind of just looked mostly like a silhouette because, you know, it's hard to see in there. But I looked at them and I made a joke at them, and then I walked to the kitchen, but they're in the kitchen and it's clearly them because the light's on and I can see their face. So I walk over to the kitchen and I'm so freaked out, and I'm sure my face was like white, like I was scared. And so I walk into the kitchen and I'm like, how did you get in here? And Connor's like, I walked. Like, what do you mean? Like, is completely oblivious to what I'm talking about. And I'm like, you were just in the, how did you get in here so fast? You were just in the garage. I left before you. And Connor's like, no, I've been in here for a few minutes already. Like, what are you talking about? And I told them what happened, and of course we were both freaked out. Later on, again, when I was typing part of the story to Loie, I was talking to Connor and clarifying some things. Connor apparently walked around the fridge, you know, as I was like opening the door, grabbed a bag of popcorn and left. Literally immediately left. Never even heard me make that joke. So literally Connor was in and out of there. I stayed in that garage and literally thought I was talking to Connor, but it wasn't Connor. It was a ghost. I made a joke to a ghost about being healthy and heard them moving stuff around on top of the dryer and looked at them. I'm sorry, I'm getting goosebumps all over again just talking about this. So obviously I'm really freaked out, and like now I mean, I avoid the garage at all costs. But as I was talking about that, I didn't really register the fact that when I had seen Martha, you know, the second night I had seen the man, and I just kind of written it off like, oh, maybe Martha looked like a man, whatever. Maybe I just imagined the man, I don't know, whatever. Now, I'm wondering, I don't know if they're connected. I don't know, maybe that's the one that's been following me around, but it's an unfamiliar energy, so I feel like I would have noticed. He also doesn't look anything like the first ghost that follows me around, which again, there's going to be another story time on that, but maybe he was here before I got here and I never noticed, and now that Martha's here and she's active, he's getting active, I don't know. But whatever it was really scared the crap out of me. And I just have like a sinking feeling right now. Also, another like semi-side note, I have 2 plants right now. This one's brand new, but this was one of them. So I had a lavender and a rosemary plant, and they were both sitting in here for a little while. No sun at all, like just sitting in my room. I had watered them every few days because I kept forgetting about them, but they were still fine and totally healthy. Then I put them outside for one day and there was like strong wind, and so I had to bring them back in. But ever since then, and like the bad stuff's been happening within the past few days, they both have started wilting. I don't know if the lavender is even going to recover because about half of it feels like this and then the other half is still like green. I think it's pretty much dead, which really sucks. Recording it stopped automatically. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was talking about my plants, and then I heard tapping noises coming from the closet. The only thing that shares a wall with the closet is the bathroom, which is where my lavender is right now, and also, like I said, is right beside Martha. So I looked up and was freaked out because there's no way that sound should be coming from over there, and I was freaked out looking up at it. And then I don't know how long the camera like caught that. Like I don't even know if it registered. Woo, okay. I don't know how much of it caught, if it caught any of it. I don't know when it cut out, but I was looking up freaked out, and then I looked back over, and my camera, which it does this occasionally, but it usually waits a lot longer, said my recording has been stopped automatically. So I'm freaked out. I press record, I sit back down, and as I'm talking to you about it, and then I look up again. Hope the camera heard those. As I look back at the camera.
Hi, Editing Kai here. I just wanted to put in a quick disclaimer because I was playing this back and editing it, and when I said, hope the camera heard those, after a second I heard those, and I swear to God I played it over and over and over again, and then turned up the volume all the way and literally lost my shit because I thought that there was like a little girl or something like Martha like saying, heard those, like mocking me. Literally scared the crap out of me because there are so many like sounds that are happening during this video, and I've just been really freaked out the whole time editing and recording and in my general life lately. And so I assumed it was a ghost and freaked out, and then I told Connor, and Connor's like, wait, what? And so I played it for Connor, and then Connor was like, oh no, that was me. And I was like, oh, thank God. So before any of you go to the comments and you're like, oh my God, go back to 3107 or whatever the time was, that was just Connor. I'm sorry. Scared the shit out of me too. Anyway, yeah.
It popped up and said, movie recording stopped automatically again. My skin is crawling and I feel a little bit nauseous. The point is, this happened to my rosemary plant. It was thriving beforehand, and now my lavender's dying. I went ahead and bought another rosemary, and I hope the same thing doesn't happen to it, but negative energy of any kind, like curses or anything like that, or like bad spirits can do that. And like I said, Martha hasn't been causing issues. She's been around and she's been making her presence known sometimes, but like if I'm ever like, hey, please don't do anything right now, like it's freaking me out, she'll stop. With whatever's in the garage and whatever I've seen recently and whatever's probably the thing tapping and killing my plants, I say, hey, can you leave me alone? And it doesn't. Literally earlier when I went to the garage, I was freaked out already, and I was like, leave me alone. Nothing changed. And also, I saged this area before recording, and I saged my camera just in case. And so, yep, here's to hoping nothing bad happens. That's the update for now. I will update you guys if anything changes in the future. The way things are going, things probably will happen because something is feel real hot all of a sudden. I also keep thinking I'm seeing something out of the corner of my eye move like right here, which I also thought earlier I heard someone like blow in my ear like when I was walking to the garage, but that could have been nothing. I'm gonna go because I am legitimately freaked out now. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, sorry if you don't like creepy stuff. I will be coming out with more skits and parody style things soon, but yeah. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like keep talking about things that are like changing, but I just feel very closed in, and it's almost like, I don't know, maybe I'm describing it this way because I'm a barista, but you know, like heavy cream versus like milk or water. Like it's supposed to feel like water, it's been feeling like milk, and now it feels like heavy cream, like the air breathing in, like it's just very thick. Thank you so much for watching. I will keep you updated. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on all my social medias. I also revamped my Patreon, so if you want to go check that out, that would mean a whole lot to me. I'm gonna go restage my entire room again. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Why are you such a coffee cat?
It like it feels really warm and thick. I'm freaked out.